It's time for the inevitable Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 4 tier list. But first, the inevitable Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 5 reaction. I hear Koopa Cape, so I know that's coming. Alright, what tracks are available? Oh, but there's Wii Koopa Cape. Ooh, that looks good. I like me some Wii Koopa Cape. Pretty fun. Los Angeles Labs not being in Sunset. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Moonview Highway. Ooh, let's go. That just got added to the tour. Nice. Squeaky Clean Sprint. Alrighty. It looks pretty good as usual. We saw this in the Nintendo Direct. Gotta love the new characters too. Athens Dash. Alright. Athens Dash is a great track. I personally really like it. Daisy Cruiser. Lovely. Great pick. Sunset Wilds. Alright. Yep. Most people, I think this was a leak. So, good pick. And Vancouver Velocity. Let's go. Everybody's been waiting for this one. Good grief. July 12th. Let's go. Alright. Can't wait. Alright, well that looks like a really good wave. I'm very interested to see what Los Angeles Labs is gonna look like because, again, that's usually Sunset in tour, but they made it daytime? That's a pretty interesting choice, but I'm not gonna complain if it looks good. And yeah, I think the rest of the tracks are good. Athens Dash is a good choice as well as Vancouver Velocity. I was not expecting Moonview Highway. That's like the only one that I don't think anybody really had a prediction for, so yeah, I'm happy to see that here. But yeah, with all that being said, let's go on to the ranking of Wave 4, shall we? Wave 4 has been out for a few months, and like all the other waves, this one is pretty great. However, one thing I've struggled with while playing this wave is how good the tracks are and how good overall the wave is. But hopefully talking about this wave will help me come to that conclusion. Same rules as before, only comparing this wave's tracks to each other and not with the previous or future waves. With all that being said, let's dive in. Beginning with the Fruit Cup is Tour Amsterdam Drift. In Tour, this isn't one of my favorite city locations. It got better as the variants came out, but there was always something missing with it. Now in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's a pretty solid track. Gliding towards the windmills and going through the farmland, driving by the trolleys, and driving in the tulip fields is a grand time. Also, this is the first and only city track where you drive underwater. Now, even though the layout is neat, I still think it's lacking a little something extra. Like, it needs one more element to make it stand out more. It's still a good track though, so this goes in the B tier. Next up is GBA Riverside Park. This track, like the other GBA tracks, got an overhaul, and it looks pretty neat. Especially the cave section. That was a nice addition. Now here's a fun fact. I don't like this track in Tour, because it only has 2 item sets and no enemies. Thankfully, the 8th version fixes those issues. The Patui Piranha Plants are a nice enemy to have, and I love their gimmick of them carrying items that can drop when they're hit. So yeah, this track is good, but compared to all the other tracks this wave, this is the weakest one. So because of that, it's the sole entry in C tier. Moving on is the fan favorite from Wii, DK Summit. Once again, Wii fans have been getting great treatment in this DLC, and this track is no exception. The glide up to the top of the mountain is always a treat, which is followed up by lots of half pipes, which are fun to jump off of. Passing my actual DK statue, it's fun tricking off the bumps and boost ramps before getting to the double U-turn section, which you can still do the double shortcut on, so that's cool. And the final half-pipe section is always fun. This track is a classic for a reason, it's just a fun track to play through. I'll say though, it's not my favorite Wii track in the Booster Course Pass, and there are other tracks in this wave I like more. So because of that, this track goes into the B tier. And finally, for this cup is Tour Yoshi's Island. Now, this track is really amazing. Like, it's really, really good. This level is on par with the Nintendo tracks from the original Wii U DLC. Having Yoshi coins included and a unique race start and ending music is such a nice touch. And the track is well made too. From the plains, to the castle, to the mountains, and the sky. It flows so well. Also, this shortcut is really cool. I fail at grabbing it most of the time, but it's rewarding to pull off. Anything bad I could say about this track would be really nitpicky. So I won't. This track deserves the S tier ranking. To begin the Boomerang Cup, we start with Tour Bangkok Rush. Now this is one of my favorite city tracks in Tour. I love the aesthetic, the layout, and the music. And in Mario Kart 8, it's mostly the same but with some weird changes. To speak generally, the layout is still really solid. Going across the marketplace, through a parking garage, bouncing off tents, and going through the train station underpass. Or on the tracks if you feel like it. This is an amazing part of the track. That is almost perfect. Yeah, this part is weaker than the Tour version due to the lack of the inky piranha plants. They were so cool and they just took them out for some reason. But that's not the only omission. They also took out the rickshaws from some of the streets, which I can see why since it couldn't make those sections cramped, but I still miss them. And I'll admit the Lap 2 route isn't the most entertaining part of Bangkok for me. Now don't get me wrong, I still think this track is really great and one of the better city tracks. But because of these flaws, it only gets an A tier ranking. Maybe if they added some of the missing elements in like an update in the future, this track would be much higher. Next is DS DS Mario Circuit. Okay, I'll admit I really wanted Airship Fortress in the Booster Course Pass, as well as everybody else. But to be frank, I really like this track a lot. In retrospect, DS Mario Circuit was my favorite Mario Circuit in the series. And since they brought this back, that statement is still true. It just has a fun layout and many neat elements, like the piranha plants that shoot fire, similar to the inky piranha plants from Bangkok Rush, Nintendo. The newly added forest section with a sleeping regular that wakes up after a period of time, so cute. And the ending section with Peach's castle in the background. These elements help this circuit stand out from the other ones in the game, and it's easily the best Mario circuit in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now. This track goes in A tier. Second to last is GCN Waluigi Stadium. What's this? A double dash track in the Booster Course Pass? Wow. But yeah, this is one of the fan favorite double dash tracks, and a fun one at that. This track's claim to fame, besides the Waluigi branding, is the many jump ramps all over the place. So it makes tricking here pretty fun. Also, this is a really fun half-pipe track, so that's a plus. The section with the piranha plant walls and fire bars is a classic, and they even added new anti-gravity platforms to this track, which is a nice touch. I'll say this track was more on the level of DK Summit for this wave for a while, but the more I play it, the more I end up liking it. So this track goes in A tier. And finally is Tour Singapore Speedway. This is a city I always like racing on in Tour. It may have pretty simple ideas for each individual version, but they are executed well. And the 8 version pretty much does the same thing. Gliding to the top and back down from Marina Bay Sands is a neat set piece. Chinatown is a short but sweet area, and the conveyor belt section is windy and fun. Also, this track looks amazing in this game, as well as the music. I can bop to this all day. This track is pretty similar to how Sydney Sprint was in Wave 2, where it's pretty simple in concept, but in execution, it's amazing. Definitely one of the better, if not the best city track in the Booster Course Pass. This track goes all the way up to S tier. And that is the Wave 4 tier list. So how do I feel about this wave? Well, I'd say it has the strongest selection of tour tracks so far. Amsterdam, Yoshi's Island, Bangkok, and Singapore are all solid tracks. DS Mario Circuit is a surprise hit, and Waluigi Stadium is a great first representation of Double Dash. However, DK Summit and Riverside Park aren't the best track from their respective games in the Booster Course Pass. But they aren't bad tracks though. Overall, I'd say for now, this wave is on par with Wave 3, which isn't a bad thing, they're both really good. But yeah, this wave was great, and I can't wait to see how Wave 5 will turn out. What did you think of Wave 4? Is it the best wave? Is it the worst wave? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today, so until the next video or stream, Goodbye.